Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to lecture number 21 of the course Introduction to Computer and Programming. In this lecture, I will give you the introduction of strings. We will see what is a character array, that is string, null character, memory map of string, string initialization, and displaying string character, and input string from the user, and passing string to a function. String is basically array of character with null character. In the previous lecture, we have seen what is two-dimensional array, initialization of two-dimensional array, memory map of 2D array, pointers and 2D array, array of pointer. Array of pointer is an array in which each element contains the memory address of some other memory location, and passing 2D array to a function. Today's lecture we will see what is a string. So until now we haven't touched array of character. In arrays chapter or in arrays lecture, we have seen integer array or floating point array. I have shown you all the program example programs that mostly contains integer array. This is one of the reason that we will see the character array in string section. So today we will see what is a character array, that is basically a string, and a null character, memory map of string, how memory is allocated for string, and string initialization, what are the different ways to initialize the string at the declare time, and display string content, what are the mechanisms to display the content of the string, input string from the user, what functions can be used to input string from the user, and passing a string to a function. String. So integer array is basically a group of integers that we have seen in the previous lecture, and similarly a group of character is called an array of character, and that is actually a string. So a character array are many times called a string, and character array or string are used by the programming languages to manipulate text such as words or sentences. So until now we have seen how to input integer or floating point values or a single character from the user, but we haven't seen how to input a word that constitute multiple alphabets or characters, and how to input a sentence from a user in a program, and that is actually a string, a word. Or so string is a combination of one or more than one character. A string is a one-dimensional array of characters terminated by a null character. So that is the speciality of the string, that it always terminates at null character, and null character is represented by backslash and 0. So let's say this is a string initialization. So this is the name of the string is name name. So we haven't specified the size of the string. So the size of the string would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 bytes, 8 characters are stored in that string, and how much memory will be allocated? Each character take 1 byte, so that means 8 bytes of memory will be allocated for the character array name or a string name. Each character in the array occupies 1 byte of memory. That is what we know. So the last character is always null. So string or character array जो C में है उसकी ये speciality है, and that makes it different from the integer or the float array, that a string or a character array always terminate at null character. So what is a null character? It is represented by backslash and a 0, that is backslash and a digit 0. It looks like 2 characters, but it is actually 1 character, and ASCII value of \0 that is null and 0 that is a digit are not same. ASCII value of null is 0, whereas ASCII value of 0 is 48. So in the fourth lecture or third lecture, in fourth or fifth lecture, we have seen the character set of C, and the C character set constitute of all the alphabets, lowercase, uppercase, all the digits 0 to 9, and all the special symbols. So this 0 is the part of the C character set, and it has some ASCII value, and the ASCII value of 0 is 48, and the ASCII value of null character, that is \0, is 0. Let's see the memory allocation of string. How the memory is allocated for the strings. The element of the character array are stored in a contiguous memory location, that is this one. So you can see that this is the string containing alphabets H, A, E, S, L, E, R and null character, and each character take 1 byte. So these are the addresses 65508, and the next address is 65509. So this means that this alphabet H takes only 1 byte of memory, right? So a string also contains digits, but these digits are not integers, these are the characters. These are from the character set of C, and these digits that are from the character set of C, and that is the part of a string that takes only 1 byte of memory, not the 4 byte in memory, right? So if I have a string ABC 1 2 3, so in this string 1 2 3 are the digits, they won't are integers basically, they won't take 4 byte, 1 take only 1 byte, 2 take only 1 byte, and 3 takes only 1 byte. So ABC 1 2 3 takes only 6 plus 1 7 byte, plus 1 is for the null character. Why this is so? Because these 1 2 3 are not the basically integers, these are the characters from the character set of C, right? So there is a difference between character and alphabet. Alphabet is, we have alphabets is A, B up to Z, small and capital, but character set is the bigger set that contains all the alphabets, that contains digits from 0 to 9, and that contains all the special symbols on the keyboard. The null character is very important because it is the only way to know where the string ends, and that is the speciality of the string, and you cannot find this thing in the integer array or in the floating point array. So integer array ka koi terminating character nahi hota. You have to be careful about the size of the string, right? And similar is the case with the floating point array, but in the string we always know that the string terminates at null character. A string not terminating by a null character is not really a string, but just a collection of character. So whenever I say that it's a string, then that means it's a collection of character, whether it is 1 character or more than 1 character, terminated by a null character. So null is actually the terminating character of the string. It tells that where that strings end. Let's see how we can initialize string. So we have a string name, we have seen this string before. We can initialize a string like the same way we initialize the integer or floating point array. So remember, if we have a integer array, int num with empty square brackets equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 and bracket close. Remember, we write all the digits separated by a comma, right? So here we have and these are all the integer constant 1, 2, 3 that are assigned to that array, integer array. In case of character, we have character constant, and to write character constants we have to write the character constants in a single quote like this. This is the opening quote and this is the closing quote, and within quote we have a character H, and this is character A. Why we mention single quote characters in single quote? to make it different from the ordinary variable. If I write h over here, then compiler might think that this h may be a variable, and it give me the error over here that h is not defined, right? And this is the null character. If you initialize the string character by character like this is the character by character initialization of this string name. So what is the size over here? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 8 byte of the memory will be allocated for the string name, right? And the indexes are starts from 0 up to 7. This is another way to initialize a string. So this is actually a string constant. In the double quotes you write the same string Haesler. So this is in the double quote, but you can see there is no null character over here. So it doesn't mean that this string name string doesn't terminate at null character, but in fact in this case when you initialize a string with a string constant, so this is a string constant we have, right? In the red you can see this is a string constant. This H, A, E, these are the character constant, right? So string constants always written in the double quotes. Just जब भी string constant अपने प्रोग्राम में लिखेंगे, you have to write it in the double quote. That this means that this is a string constant. A string constant may contain one character, may contain no character, or may contain more than one character. Okay? But a character constant always take one character, whether that could be a space character, so where you जहाँ पर आपके पास ये डबल कोट्स के दरमियान कोई कैरेक्टर मेंशन नहीं होगा, बट देयर इज अ स्पेस, राइट? इस सेकंड केस में C compiler will automatically insert null at the end of this string, and the total byte of the memory allocated for the name will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and plus 1 is for null character. So when you initialize a string character by character, then you have to mention the null character, but when you initialize the string using a string constant by a string constant, then there is no need to mention the null character, and it will be inserted by the C compiler automatically or by itself, right? So C will automatically insert null character at the end of the string. So memory allocated for name string is 8 byte. And what if you want to specify the size? So 7 byte for the actual string and 1 byte for the null character. So what if you want to specify the size over here, will you write 7? No, you have to write 8. This size must be these number of character plus 1, and plus 1 is for the null character, that is the part of the string, right? But it is not a string, it is the character that tells that where that string terminates. So we can say that null is actually not the part of the string, but we have to allocate memory for the null character. So इस केस में होगा क्या कि अगर आप null character के लिए memory allocate नहीं करते, if you write 7 over here instead of 8, if you write 7 instead of 8, then the 7 byte will be allocated for the array name, and in these 7 byte this Haesler will be written, and in the next byte it writes the null character. So that next byte is not the part of the name array, name string. What does that mean? That it is that last byte that is for the null is not the part of the name array. This means that that last byte is not reserved for that name array. Before that null character, these 7 bytes are reserved for the name. Okay? So this means that that last byte, the value of that last byte may be overwritten, and there are then some problem when you access that string. So you have to be careful when you write the size, when you specify the size of the string. So this size must be the must be 1 plus the number of characters you specify in the string constant at initialization time, राइट। तो जब भी आप इसको इनिशियलाइज कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पर जितने कैरेक्टर आ रहे हैं उसमें एक प्लस करके यू हैव टू मेंशन द साइज ओवर हियर, और देयर इज नो नीड टू मेंशन द साइज ओवर हियर. व्हेन यू इनिशियलाइज द स्ट्रिंग it will calculate the size automatically. But when you write 7 over here, then the null will be written in the next byte. After these 7 byte, इन 7 बाइट्स के बाद जो बाइट आ रहा है उसमें नल लिखा तो जाएगा, बट दैट बाइट इज नॉट द पार्ट और इज दिस दैट बाइट is not the memory that is allocated or that is reserved for the name array or name string. Only these 7 bytes will be reserved or the part of the memory that is reserved for the name string. ठीक है, तो उस केस में वो जो लास्ट बाइट है उसकी वैल्यू को ओवरराइट किया जा सकता है, मे बी वो किसी और कैरेक्टर के लिए और किसी वेरिएबल के लिए एलोकेट हो स्पेस, और वहाँ पर वो वैल्यू नल को ओवरराइट करते हैं. एंड देन देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम व्हेन यू एक्सेस दैट स्ट्रिंग. हाउ स्ट्रिंग एलिमेंट्स आर डिस्प्लेड. दिस इज अ वेरी सिंपल प्रोग्राम. You initialize a string, a name string, there's a name string, you haven't mentioned the size and you initialize it. So what is the size of the name string? The size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and plus 1 is for null character. So size of name will be 9. That means 9 byte of memory will be allocated for name string. So now onward I will use that string, that word string frequently for instead of saying character array. So whenever I say string, that means a character array terminated by null character. Then you initialize I with 0 and I is less than or equal to 7. Printf %c name of I. So initially the value of I is 0 and you are going to print the character at that value at that memory location. So name of 0 पे कौन सा character हमारे पास k है, that will be printed, and then the value of I will become 1. 1 less than or equal to 7, condition is true, then it again prints %c name of 1, and name of 1, the character at name 1 is L, so L will be printed, the value of I will be plus plus, and this loops will be executed 8 times, right, starting from 0 and goes up to 7. So 8 times this will be executed and it will print all these character except the null character. वो null character को print नहीं करेगा. Why? Because null character is actually not the part of the string. वो string का part नहीं है. string का part उससे पहले जितने character हैं वो हैं. The null character is there to tell that the string terminates here. Right? Let's go and see the program. So this is the program, and if I run that program, it prints client's main and then press any key to continue. So I can write printf new line over here so that this press any key to continue will be written in the new line. Compile and run. So it writes client's main. Okay, so what if I write over here Ahmed Ali Khan, let's say. Okay, now will the same loop work for that? Do you think the same loop print all the characters of this string? Let's see. Let's compile. So when you press just F9 button on the keyboard, it will first compile, and if there is no error it will execute that program, and if there are error it will print those errors, it will display those errors. For example, if I forget to mention this semicolon over here and I press F9, that is compile and execute, so it compiles and give me an error, and that error is syntax error before int. So is int से पहले you have a syntax error, so is int से पहले you have this statement and there is some error over here, and you can soon recognize that you missed that semicolon. Okay, so when you press F9, so it write Ahmed and AL, it haven't write I, and then space and then Khan. So space is also a character, right? Space is also a character. So it write Ahmed space AL, that's it. Why it is so? Because the size of this string now is 1, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 14 plus 1 15 byte will be allocated for that string. So to print that string we have to execute the loop 14 times. So here I have to write 13 over here, so that means 0 to 13 is 14. Now let's see if I compile and execute. Yes, now it prints all those characters. Okay, so space is also a character. You have to keep this in mind, that space is also a character. For example, let's say we count how many spaces are there in that array. अगर हमने काउंट करना हो कि इस स्ट्रिंग के अंदर कितनी स्पेसेस आ रही हैं, there are actually 2 spaces, 1 and 2 space character. We can write over here name of I is equal to, now this is a space character. This is how you specify a space character: single quote opening, space, and single quote closing. Single quote opening, then there is a space, and how you put the space, you press the space bar one time only. So now let's initialize this count variable. Count is equal to 0. Okay, and then we can print over here, printf space characters is equal to %d/n. So हमें बता देगा स्पेस कैरेक्टर कितनी दफ़ा है स्ट्रिंग में. Let's compile it, close and execute it. Space characters 110. That is strange. Okay, we haven't write any character over here. So count. So whenever we mention this %d, we have to write that integer variable over here whose value is going to be printed over here. Before that we haven't specified, that's why we will have a strange value. Now the space characters is equal to 2, so it find the 2 space characters, one is there and this is the second one. So let's see if I put another space character, then what happens. Now the loop executes 14 times because there are 14 characters now here. Okay, there's 2 space character over here. Let's compile it and run it. So now it says me that there are 3 space character. So this is 1 space and these are 2 spaces, right? So space is also a character basically, right? Let's go to the slide. So this is one of the mechanism to display the string content on the screen, right? This is another mechanism, and that is very useful mechanism where you check that you reach the null character. Until you reach the null character, you are going to print all the characters, and when you reach at null character, then you have to terminate the loop or comes out from the loop. So here the value of I is 0. So first it will check in the while name of 0, that is k is not equal to null character. The condition is true, k is not equal to null character, condition is true, so it comes inside and display k and then I++, and then it check name of 1. So name of 1 is L is not equal to null character, condition is again true, it comes inside the loop and print name 1 as character. So वो name 1 में जो character था, that is L, that will be printed, and then the value of I is incremented, the value of I becomes 2. Now in the while loop it checks name of 2 is not equal to null. So name of 2 is I is not equal to null, condition is true, so it print I and I++. So there is some time that the value of I becomes 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So value of I becomes 8, and when it says name of 8 not equal to null, in name of 8 you have a null character, and then null is not equal to null, condition is false, and it comes outside the loop, right? So this is a string. So at the 8th index, this is the 0th index, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So at the 8 index, when the value of I is 8, name of 8 contains null character, right? And null is not equal to null, the condition is false, so it comes outside that loop. Let's go and see the program. So this is more generic way to write, to display the character array. Why? Because जो character array है, that terminates at null character. So why not take the advantage of that character? So we are going to print that string character by character until we find null character, right? That is more generic approach. Instead of we have to know the size of the string. जिस हमने previous example में देखा था, मैंने string को change किया, then I have to change the number of time that loop will be executed, right? Previously we have a small string, the loop executes 8 times, and then we have a bigger strings, the loop executes 14 times. So now if let's first run that program. Okay, it writes the name client's main. So this is the name. Now let me change this string. So when I write Ahmed Ali Khan, now should I have to change this? No, there's no need to change this condition. So if this string is small or large, whatever, there's no need to change this thing. Why? Because we are going to print each character from the string until we find the null. So if the size of the string contains 5 characters or 500 characters, and the same loop will work perfectly fine. So let's compile and execute. So it prints Ahmed Ali Khan. Let's say our string size is much larger than this one. So this is our string now. So it contains 14, 15, 15, 15, about 45 characters. The same loop will work and print this string, right? And if we have only one character, so a string contains only one character, so that is also a string constant, that is not a character constant. Because character constant can be written like within single quotes, we have to write A. So this is a character constant, but this is a string constant, and this is a string variable. Okay, there's a difference. Like we have a character variable, we have a string variable, we have an integer array variable, we have an integer constant, we have an integer variables, we have a floating constant, we have a floating variables as well. Okay, so this is a string constant, and let's see whether it prints that string or not. Yes, it prints A. So that is more generic form to display the content of the string, right? You cannot use the same strategy to display the content of integer array or floating point array, because integer array or float array does not terminate at null character. There is no terminating character in the integer array or in the floating array. Okay, let's go to the slide, back to the slide. Now pointer to string. Let's see a simple program where we have a string whose name is name, N-A-M-E, and we are initializing the string with the string constant hello, H-E-L-L-O. So the size of the string name is 6 byte. That is, the memory allocated for that string is 6 byte. So when the first statement, this statement is executed, 6 byte of the memory will be allocated, and the last byte contains the null character, and you can see the age contains 1 byte. This is 65508. The next byte is 65509. But in the case of integer, there is a jump of 4 byte, because a single integer value or single floating point value contains 4 byte of memory, right? So this is the size of the name array. It contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements or 6 characters. Each character takes 1 byte. Then we are going to declare a character pointer. So character pointer is a pointer that points to a memory location where you can store character only. Integer pointer is a pointer that points to a memory location where you can store integer constants. Then we are initializing this character with name. So name is basically same as if you write and name and within square bracket 0, that is the base address. So this name is actually 65508 and you are assigning this address to the pointer PTR. So we have a pointer PTR, and when this statement is executed, so this value will be assigned, this address will be assigned to this pointer, that is, it becomes the value of the pointer, and the value of pointer is always the address, and this means that this pointer points to this memory location. You can see this arrow, that this pointer points to this particular memory location. Then you come inside the while loop and you check while static PTR is not equal to null. What is static PTR? Static PTR is 65508 and static PTR is static 65508. This means that you can read it out, value at address 65508. And what is that value? That value is h. So the condition in the while loop, it will become h not equal to null, and that is true. H is not equal to null, so it comes inside the loop and it displays the message. Not display the message, it prints the character that is placed at the address of 65508. So static PTR is h, it prints h, and then it increments this pointer value PTR plus plus. It's not static PTR plus plus. If it is static PTR plus plus, then it increments here. और जब यहाँ पर इंक्रीमेंट होगा तो एज की जो ASCII वैल्यू उसमें 1 ऐड कर दिया जाएगा और वो ASCII वैल्यू उस जगह लिख दी जाएगी. दिस मीन्स दैट द नेक्स्ट कैरेक्टर दैट एज इज इंक्रीमेंटेड or this byte or the value of this byte is incremented from h to I, because h के बाद जो कैरेक्टर आ रहा है वो I आ रहा है हमारे पास. ठीक है, सो एज के बाद जिस कैरेक्टर की ASCII वैल्यू आएगी दैट इज द I कैरेक्टर. बट हियर वी आर परफॉर्मिंग, we are just incrementing the value of the pointer, that is the memory address. So this value will be incremented, and now the type of the pointer, you have to see the type of the pointer. The type of the pointer is character, so the next byte or the next value will be 1 byte away from the current value, because character pointer points to a character. ठीक है, so next character will be 1 byte away from the current value, and if it is an integer pointer, it points to an integer, it points to a memory location where you have integer values, and the next integer value will be 4 byte away from the current value. So जब PTR plus plus execute होगा, the value of PTR will become 65509 and it points to the next byte of that memory location. And then we have a condition in the while loop, static PTR is not equal to null. What is static PTR? Static PTR is static 65509, that is value at address 65509, and that value is E. So E is not equal to null, condition is true, and then it comes inside the loop and execute this printf statement. Now in this printf statement we are going to print the character. Which character? Static PTR, and static PTR is static 65509. This means character E will be printed, right? And then again incrementing PTR. जब PTR को increment करेंगे तो increment will be of 1 byte, because the type of the PTR is character. So that is the increment. After increment it points to the next byte. Then again it comes inside the while loop, it checks the condition of the while loop. The condition is static PTR is not equal to null, that is L not equal to null, condition is true. Then it executes second printf statement. It comes inside the while loop log and execute the first statement, that is the printf statement, and in that printf we are going to print a character at static 65510. So that character is L. So L will be printed, then value of PTR will be incremented, it points to the next byte. So you can see in the figure, so the value of PTR is incremented, now it points to the next byte. Then in the while loop, one thing I want to tell over here, जो शायद मैंने पहले नहीं बताई थी आपको, that is this, you see this red line, this is the connection, that show the connection that this pointer points to this memory location. ये actually memory में इस तरह का कोई connection बनता नहीं है. I mean this is logical connection. This pointer contains the address of this memory location. So this means that this pointer points to this memory location. A point करने के लिए there is no kind of कोई wire नहीं है. That is not a wire that it points to that memory location. ठीक है? Because it contains the address, that means it points to that memory location. So for simplicity I just put an arrow over here. So memory will be reserved. इस pointer के लिए memory कितनी reserve होगी? 4 byte. Why 4 byte? Because the pointer तो character pointer है. Why not 1 byte for that character pointer? Why 4 byte memory will be allocated for the character pointer? The answer is pointer always take 4 byte in Dev C, not in Turbo C, in Dev C or in Microsoft Visual C compiler, regardless of the type of the pointer, चाहे वो int का है, चाहे character का है, चाहे float का है, चाहे किसी भी और type का, it always take 4 byte of memory. And this connection is not a physical connection. ये physically कोई इस तरह से connection नहीं जा रहा होगा. I just put this line in the red form, this red line, because just to tell that this pointer contains the address of this memory location. That's it, right? Next it will check the while loop condition. Now static PTR is static 65511, value at address 65511 is L, so L not equal to null condition is true. So it comes inside the while loop block and execute the printf statement, and the printf statement in the printf statement we are going to print a character. How I know? Because of this %C. So %C means only one character will be printed on the screen, right? And which character? Static PTR is L. So L will be printed. Then it increments the PTR. This is the increment in the PTR value. Now it points to the next byte. Then we check the while loop condition. Static PTR is not equal to null condition is true, because static PTR is 0 is not equal to null condition is true. Now it comes inside the loop and print. In printf statement we are going to print the character at that static PTR character, and static PTR is value at address 65512, and that is 0. So 0 will be printed, PTR will be incremented. Now in the while loop we are checking static PTR is not equal to null. So static PTR is null, so condition becomes null not equal to null, and that is false, and the loop terminates. Control comes outside the loop. So this is a way you can print the string using a pointer. ठीक है, pointer के through भी आप string को print कर सकते हैं इस तरीके से. Now let's go and see the program. So this is a program, the same program that I have shown you in the slide. Let's compile that program and run it. So it prints hello. Let me put here one printf again /n. Okay, it prints hello. So what if the string is changed from hello to Ahmed Ali Khan? So this is a bigger string. We do not need to change this while loop condition, so it prints Ahmed Ali Khan. The underneath thing is the same, that we are going to print the string until we find the null character. ठीक है, so same जिस तरह से हमने देखा था कि the integer array के केस में, like if we have an integer array int x is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 elements है इसमें, and this name is actually the base address. This x is the base address of that string. ठीक है, so इस x को एक pointer है basically that points to the memory location where you have a collection of integer. So same is the case over here. This name is a pointer. This name is a pointer that points to a memory location where you have these characters stored. So we can print the same array using some other mechanism. Let me comment out this thing. So we have a while loop while static name plus I is not equal to, within single quote we have to specify null character, and then here यहाँ पर एक और चीज, you cannot increment name. जिस तरह से आपने ptr को increment किया, because ptr is a pointer, you can increment this value, but you cannot increment the value or the base address of an array, because name contains the base address of this array and you cannot increment the name, right? आप name को increment नहीं कर सकते. Plus I, let's say we have integer I is equal to 0, printf %c comma static name plus I and I plus plus. So now we are going to print the character array name or a string name, not through a pointer but through the name of that string. ठीक है, that is one of the mechanism to display the content of the string. So it prints Ahmed Ali Khan as it is, right? So you remember this notation, we have seen this notation in the, while we are writing the while we are on the integer arrays, we are seeing what is an integer array or how to display the content of integer array. Same is the case with the character array. You can print the content of the character array like this, but do not forget to increment I, value of I. So initially name contains the base address of this array. Let's say the base address is 500, assume, and then it increments I 0, so static 500 is A, so A not equal to null condition is true, so here it prints A. Then you increment the value of 1 I, so it becomes from 0 to 1, and then in the condition, while loop condition, you check 500 plus 1, that is 501, because the type of this name is character. So when you add 1 in it, it will only perform the addition of 1, because the next value is stored in the next byte. ठीक है? So this will become 501. So static 501 contains H. If 500 is the address of A, then 501 is the address of H. So H not equal to null condition is true, so it prints the H and so on. So इस तरह से लूप चलता रहेगा. So एक टाइम आएगा जब यहाँ पर इसके बाद I की वैल्यू यहाँ पर आ जाएगी, let's say 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So when the value of I becomes 14, so name plus 14 is 514, and 514 place you have a null character. ठीक है? And that character, when compare, null is not equal to null condition become false and it comes outside the loop. I hope you understand this thing. This is the same mechanism as we have seen in the case of integer array, right? This is how a pointer points to a string, and you can display the content of that string using that pointer. The elements of the character array can be accessed exactly in the same way as the elements of the integer array. Thus, all the following notation refer to the same element, name I, static name plus I that we have seen in the example, or static I plus name. That is the same as static name plus I. So if the value of I is, let's say, 2, so name of 2 will be 0 1 2, that is L, and name is 6. In the second case, this name is, so name of 2, let's say I is 2, so name of 2 is L, and static name plus 1 gives you, so name is 65508, you are adding 2 in it, So we will have to add 2, and 65508 becomes 65510. Now it becomes static 65510, and we can read it out, value at address 65510, and that value is L. ठीक है, और इसी तरह से आप इसको भी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. Simple way to display an input string. What is the simple way? Until now we have seen that we can display the string character by character. जिस तरह से we have seen that we can display the integer array integer by integer, one value then another value in a loop, but we have another option to display the content of the string that is not character by character. That is, you can display the whole string in a one printf statement, but here in this case you have to specify %s over here. So %s means it tells the printf function that you have to print the string that starts at this address. So second parameter is the address. In the case of integer or floating point value or the character value, you doesn't specify the address of the variable in the printf function, you just write the name of that variable. But in case of string, you have to tell the memory address or the base address of the string from where the string starts, and first you have to tell that you are going to print a string. So this is a new, %s is a new, %s is to display the string on the screen. Before that we have seen %d, %f and %c. So you can read it out that in the printf function we are saying that you have to display the string on the screen that start at this particular address. So now the printf function start reading the content of the string from this address, and when it has to finished, कब तक रीड करता रहेगा, कब वो ख़त्म करेगा, until it finds the null character. तो जब तक उसे null character नहीं मिल जाता वो रीड करता रहेगा इसको, ठीक है. और जब null character मिल जाएगा then उसके बाद वो उसको null character तक print करेगा and then it terminates. So the %s used in the printf function is the format specification for printing out a string, right? So this is a scanf function. You can take input the whole string in a scanf function, right? Like you can write this is a string whose size is 25, so 25 bytes will be allocated, and in the printf function you display the message enter your name, and in the scanf function, now remember in the scanf function first we have to tell the type of the input, and in the second parameter we have to specify what is the memory address where to store that input value, right? First is the type of the input, and the second parameter to the scanf function is the memory address. So let's see what we have over here. So in the scanf function, the first parameter tells the type of the input, that is %s. Now this means that it tells the scanf function that the type of the input is a string. %s is a string, and the second parameter, is it a memory address? Yes, it's a memory address. It's a memory address of a string or a character array name. So अगर हमारे पास character array है या integer array है या floating point array है, so if we just write the name of that array, then this means that we are specifying or we are representing the base address of that string, ठीक है. So this is the base address of that string name. इसको हम यूँ भी लिख सकते हैं and name and within square bracket 0, the base address of the 0th element of that array, that is same as if you write just name, ठीक है. इस चीज़ को आप याद रख लें. Then we are going to print that's input string, right? So this is actually the memory address. Let's go to the program and let's see these example. Okay, this is another mechanism to input a string from the user, and now this input is a character by character input. So we are going to display that input in the last using a printf statement, but this is the input function, ठीक है. So हमारे पास एक input था scanf के through, So let me comment out this thing. So scanf %s is the type of the input and the address, memory location, so name of 0. So that is the starting address of the string whose name is name, or I can just write the name of that string, that is name. Okay, that is also same as and name of 0. So let's compile and execute this program. So enter your name, Ahmed, and it prints Ahmed. Now let's see how we can take input from the user in the string character by character. So there's one new function over here, and that function is getChe. getChe function is used to take a character, is used to take input, a character from the user. So getChe function wait karega, that is the input function, right, like a scanf function, but in scanf function you can take input integer value, character value, string or floating point value, but using getChe function you can only take input character values, one character at a time. So when this function will be executed, it will wait for the input of a one character. When I input one character, my input is completed. It won't wait for the enter key to be pressed or the space key to be pressed. You remember the scanf function? The scanf function को कैसे पता चलेगा कि input complete हो गया है? It knows that the input is completed when I press the enter key or when I press the space bar key, right? But the getCh function, there is no need to press any key when you write a character. So the character is input and the input for the getChe function is completed. Okay? So that value will be assigned to name of 0, or I can write name of I. So initially value of I is 0, so name of I contains the first character. Then it compares if the first character is enter. So when you press enter key, it will produce a carriage return character /r. You remember this escape sequence we have seen in the lecture number I think 4 or 5, where we have seen the escape sequence and the effect of escape sequence. So this is /r, that is a carriage return. So this character is produced when you press enter key. So for the user, he has to write the name, and when the name completes, so the name is Ahmed, so I have to write AHMAD, and then I have to press the enter key. That means my input is complete. Okay? For the user it is like this, and when I use the scanf function, it is also like this: scanf %s, name. So I have to write all the characters, and then I have to press enter key. That means my input is completed, right? Now I'm comment out this thing. So the programs, when the program is executed, this message will be displayed, then it will come over here, then this function getChe, this will wait for the input of a one character. When the one character is input, that will be assigned to name of 0, and in the while loop you are checking name of 0 is not equal to enter key. If it is not, it will come inside increment value of I, then again getCh function. Again this is a function that takes one input, right, and it's assigned that input to name of 1, and then in the while loop condition you check name of 1 is not equal to enter key, right? So you write the complete name and then you press the enter key, then this condition becomes false and it will print the name, and system pause will be executed. So try the message, press any key to continue, and the program exits. So let's run this program. So enter your name. So I write AHMAD, then press enter key, so it show me the name Ahmed. अब यहाँ पर जब मैंने A प्रेस किया था तो फर्स्ट getCh की गेट सी एच ई फंक्शन की एग्जीक्यूशन कंप्लीट हो गई है, उसको एक कैरेक्टर मिल गया है, इट असाइन दैट कैरेक्टर टू नेम ऑफ आई एंड इनिशियली आई इज 0, सो 0th इंडेक्स पे असाइन कर देगा एंड देन इट कम्स, इट चेक्स द कंडीशन ऑफ द लूप की कंडीशन को देखेगा यहाँ पर वो, ठीक है. सो लेट मी रन दैट प्रोग्राम वंस अगेन. ओके, सो राइट ए, सो ये इनपुट कंप्लीट हो गई है इसकी, ठीक है. सो गेट सी एच सी की इनपुट कंप्लीट हो गई है, इट असाइन द वैल्यू ए, कैरेक्टर ए टू नेम ऑफ 0 because initially I is 0, then it comes inside the loop और वो चेक करेगा कि क्या नेम ऑफ 0 एंटर की के बराबर है, कैरेज रिटर्न स्लैश आर के बराबर है. इफ बिकॉज दिस दैट इज कैरेक्टर ए, दैट इज नॉट द एंटर की और दैट इज नॉट द कैरेज रिटर्न, बिकॉज व्हेन यू प्रेस द एंटर की it will produce this character slash r, ठीक है. Then it comes inside, condition is true, a is not equal to carriage return, condition is true, so it increments the value of I, not again waiting for the character get ch function, ठीक है. तो दोबारा वेट कर रहा है, I press h, so ये execution complete हुई, it assign the h to name of I and then comes to the condition of the loop, name of I, name of 1 is not equal to carriage return, condition is true, it come inside and increment the value of I. Okay, so now if I press enter over here, my input is completed. Now this get che reads \r, it assigns that character to this array name and then comes over here and compare \r is not equal to \r, the condition is true, it comes outside and display that string, right? So what if we write printf over here, printf I is equal to %d. now you will see कि जब मैं यहाँ पर input complete कर लूँगा इस जगह पर, so it comes over here, display that value and then it will wait over here for the input. So this is an input function like a scanf function. So whenever the program encounter a scanf function, it will stop and wait there until it gets the input from the user. Same is the case with the get che function. Whenever the program encounter a get che function, it waits there until the user provides some input to that function, right? So let's compile and execute this. Now let's see. So first this get ch will be executed. I press A. I just press A, not the enter key. So I just press A, the input is complete, it assign it to the name of I, and then it check name of I. Name of I contains A, name of I is 0 and that contains A is not equal to carriage return \r. Condition is true, it increments the value of I, it becomes 1 and then printf that value. And then the next statement we have a get ch function again, get ch function again. So it first execute the get ch function and here it is waiting. So I press H, input is completed, it assign that input to name of 1, then in the condition it check name of 1, that is H not equal to carriage return, condition is true, it increment the value of I, it becomes 2 and then print that value. Now if I write just enter over here, so it prints that message AH. That's it. So that is another mechanism to display the content of the string. Okay, there is a caution with the scanf function, and that is the length of the string should not exceed the dimension of the character array. That is very important thing, and that is the thing that you have to take care whether the array is integer array or a floating point array or a character array, any type of array. So then the scanf is not capable of receiving multi-word string. For example, hello world. So अगर मैं अपने प्रोग्राम में नेम, अभी जो मैंने scanf के थ्रू नेम इनपुट किया था, that is just Ahmed. If the name is Ahmed space Ali, that is a multi-word string, and scanf function is not capable of receiving multi-word string. Why? Because scanf में जब input complete होती है, you can specify there are two mechanisms to specify that the input is completed when the input is taken by scanf function. The first is you press the enter key, which we do most of the time, and the other is the space bar. Okay, when you put a space bar, that means that your input is complete. So if in the scanf function I am going to take input a string and I write, when the program execute, I write the string Ahmed space Ali, so it will only assign Ahmed to that string, not space Ali. It will ignore space and Ali afterwards. Okay. Getters function can be used to input multi-word string. So getters is a new function. So getters function is used to input just the string, no, not the integer, not the character, not the floating point value. That is only used to take input the string, as the name suggests, get s, get string. So here we have a program, we have a character array name, and then enters your full name. So you write the full name that contains spaces, and that will be successfully input using get s function. Then put s is the function, is the output function, same as the printf function, but it is only used to output or to display the string, just the string. Put s, put string on the screen. Let's see the program. This is the same program. Okay, let me first run that program using getters function. Okay, using, let's say, scanf function, %s and name. This is how we input string in a scanf function, right? We have to specify the type of the input, then we have to specify the address, and then using putS function we're going to display the content of that string. So putS function ko you also provide the base address of that string that you want to be displayed on the screen. So putS function start printing that string character by character from the address you have provided over here until it finds the null character, right? So इस प्रोग्राम को रन करके देखते हैं. इसमें हम मल्टी वर्ड स्ट्रिंग इनपुट लेंगे scanf function के थ्रू and we will see the behavior of that program. So write enter your full name. So let me write my full name, Najmus Saqib, right? So now it should display me Najmus Saqib completely, but it just display Najmus, my first name. Let me put system pause and let's execute that program again. So enter your full name. Let's say the full name is of a student is Ahmed Ali. So just display Ahmed. Why? Because there is a limitation of the scanf function that it won't be it is not capable of taking input multi-word string. But why this is so? इस तरह से क्यों है scanf function के साथ कि वो multi-word string input नहीं ले सकता? This is because कि आप scanf function के through multiple inputs ले सकते हैं, आप multiple variables में input ले सकते हैं, ठीक है? And to specify that your input is completed, there are two mechanisms in the scanf function. The first is you press the enter key and that tells the scanf function that the input is complete, and the second mechanism is the spacebar key and that also tells the scanf function that the input is completed. Okay? For example, if I have two integers x and y and display the message enter two integers and using scanf function मैं इनकी value input ले लेता हूँ. %d is the type of the input that will be stored. The first will be stored at the memory that is associated with the x variable, and the second will be stored at the memory that is associated with the y variable. And then in the printf function we are going to display that value %d, comma x, comma y, let's comment out the other part of the program. Okay, now in this scanf function we have to provide two input, और इसमें after providing first input I will press the space key, that is the indication that my first input is completed, and then after providing the second input I press the enter key. So let's execute this program. So this is first integer, then a space, and then second integer, and then enter. So display two values. So scanf function को दो mechanism है ये बताने के कि input complete हो चुकी है. The first is the space bar and second is the enter key, and that is the limitation of the scanf function, that it is not capable of taking input multi word string, ऐसी string जिसमें हमारे पास spaces आ रही है. Let's come back to our program. Now we can use getters function. So getters function को you will provide the base address जहाँ पर उसने input string लिखनी है, where it has to write that input string. You have to provide the base address, and for the putf function you have to provide the base address from where it has to start printing that string, and when it will finish until when it finds the null character. जब इसको null character मिल जाएगा string में, उस जगह तक वो प्रिंट करेगा स्ट्रिंग को, उससे पहले प्रिंट कर देगा, और जब null character मिल जाएगा it stops. Now let's execute this program. Compile and execute. So enter full name. So this is the getters is the input function. It will wait for the input. So let me write my full name. Then it displays me the full name, right? So getters function के लिए एक भी point है that is the enter key, that आप उसको ये बता सकते हैं कि input कब complete होगी. You have to press the enter key, not the space bar, right? And that is why the getters is capable of taking input multi-word string. Let's go back to our slides. That is the caution with the scanf function. So whenever you have to take input multi-word string, you can use getters function, get string function, and for the get string function you just have to specify the memory address where it has to start writing the input string. Now pointer and string. Suppose we want to store the string constant hello. So this hello is basically a string constant. Why it is string constant? Because it is written in the double quotes, within the double quotes. So there are two mechanisms to store that string constant. The first is we may either store it in a string. We can write a string, let's say character str1, and then we have to specify the size and equals to hello, and then we may ask the C compiler to store it at some location in the memory and assign the address of that string in a character pointer. That is the second mechanism, like this. So this is the first one. You have a string and you are initializing it with this hello string constant. ठीक है, so आप इस string constant से इस string को initialize करें str को. The other mechanism is you have a string, you have a character pointer. Now in the second statement, C compiler allocates memory for this string constant, that is hello. It puts the null character at the end of string, and इस memory का जो starting address होगा, it assign that address to this pointer. So for the pointer it allocates 4 byte, and that pointer contains the address of the memory location where you have a string hello, right? And in the first case it will allocate 6 byte for the string, for the character array str, इसके लिए 6 byte allocate करेगा, and that's it. Now what is the difference? This is the first case and this is the second case, right? Now they are both different. So str contains the base address of the character array or a string, while this pointer variable contains the starting address of the memory location where you have a string hello. Difference: we cannot assign one string in another string, but we can assign one character pointer to another character pointer, because character pointer is a variable. That is a variable, you can change its value. But once you allocate the memory for the string, like for the str string in the previous slide I've shown you, so str contains the base address of the string. You cannot change the value of str. You can change the value that is placed at the first index, 0th index, 1th index, 2nd index, and so on, but you cannot change the memory address of str. The value contained by str is the memory address, and you cannot change that value. So this is the example program. Let's go and see that example program. So here we have a string str1, and this is a string constant that is assigned to this string variable. And then in the second statement we have another string whose size is 10. Then we have a character pointer that points to the memory location where we have a string good morning. And then we have another character pointer. So if we try to change the base address of this string str2, that is this one, we cannot. This is not allowed by the compiler, because this is something constant. So when the memory is allocated for str1, you cannot change the value of str1, right? That is the base address of str1 string. And similarly, you cannot change the base address of str2, because the memory is allocated for str2. You cannot change that address. But this is a pointer variable. This is also a pointer variable. You can easily change the value of that pointer variable with some other pointer variable or with some other memory address. This is same as you have an ordinary integer variable x and ordinary integer variable y, like int x and int y. And if you want that the value of x will be assigned to value of y, you can simply write y is equal to x semicolon, so the value of x will be assigned to value of y. Same is the case over here, right? But you cannot change the memory address of the string or the character array str2 when the memory is allocated to this character array, right? Now passing string to a function. Let's see this example program. Here we have a prototype of the function, display function, whose return type is void. The name of the function is display, and the type of the parameter is the character pointer. This is the main function. In the main function we have a string str1. This is actually a character array, and we are initializing it with the string constant hello, hello. And then we are going to display the content. We are calling display function and passing it the base address of that character array, or the base address of that string, or you can say the address of the first element of that character array, that is str1. So this is the memory allocated for str1, and when you call this function display, so this str1 is 65508. That is same as and str1 square brackets 0, right? Address of the 0th index element. And when you pass it to the display function, so in the display function we have a pointer q. So q में जो value assign हो जाएगी, that is 65508, and that points to this memory location. इस memory location को ये point करेगा. Now you remember whenever we pass the integer array or a floating point array to a function, to a display function, we have to specify the size of that string. That is integer. There is no terminating character for the integer array or the floating point array, so we must tell the function, display function, जो कि एक integer array के लिए था, कि this is the first parameter is the base address of the integer array, and the second parameter is the total number of element in that array or the size of the array. But for the character array, since the character array or a string terminate at null character, this is a well-known fact in this for the C programmer, that the string always terminate at the null character. So for the display function, we just have to pass the base address of the string. So it start printing the string until it finds the null character. So I'm repeating that display function starts printing the string from the base address, and it increments this pointer value until it finds the null character. So we have just a while loop over here, while static q is not equal to null. So static q is static 65508, that is value at address 65508, that value is h. So the comparison is h not equal to 0. That is true. So in the printf function, this is a compound statement, static q plus plus. So here you can see that this plus plus is the post increment statement. So first the other operation will be performed, and then the value of q will be incremented. The other operation is static q. So static q is, it increments the value of the pointer q, that is 65508. That first that is printed. So h will be printed on the screen, and then the value of q will be incremented. Next, it compare in the while loop condition that e is not equal to null character. The condition is true. It comes inside the while loop and print the character at static q. That character is e. Then it increments the pointer q and it points to the next byte, and so on. इस तरह से वो सबको प्रिंट कर देगा. And then in the last, this pointer points to the byte that contains the terminating character of that string, and that character is a null character. And in the while loop condition, when it compares it, static q is null, null is not equal to null, condition becomes false, and it comes outside the loop. So this is a very simple display function. Let's go to the program and see this function. So this is the base address. We are passing the base address to the display function, and there is no need to specify, or there is no need to tell that how many character or what is the size or how many elements that string contains to the display function. Display function को बताने की हरगिज़ ज़रूरत नहीं है कि इस string का size क्या है, because this is a character array or a string. So a string always terminate at null character. So within display function, we can start printing that string using this pointer q until we find the null character. So let's compile and run this program, and it prints the string. /n. Okay, let me change that string now. Hello world. So it print that string. So display function string को print कर देगा. Okay, this is the end of our today's lecture. Let me summarize our today's lecture. In today's lecture, we have seen what is a string, what is a null character, memory map of string, string initialization, displaying content of string, and what are the different mechanisms to take input the element in the string, and how the string are passed to the function.